Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening to you. This is by Hook or by Needles. Whoops, wrong way. I am Sam, and yeah. Sorry, I got distracted. I've just seen something. This stitch is a very interesting stitch. It kind of really did my head in a little bit because I wasn't thinking straight. But I am now. So it does look a little bit confusing. I will grant you that. The graph is a little bit confusing if you don't know what you're looking at. So let's have a look. First thing you notice is that row 1 is on the left hand side, not the right hand side as usual. Why they've done that, I don't particularly know. I don't know as if it's really necessary to reflect the graph, but we'll go with it. Okay, so it wants us to do our chain, and our chain can be any multiple of numbers of stitches, odds, evens, does not matter. And it is a 3-row repeat, I think. Or 4, 1, 2, 3, 4-row repeat. Okay, so it's a 4-row repeat, so you are basically repeating rows 2, 3, 4, and 5. As you can see, row 5 is the same as row 1. So, but it's repeating 2, 3, 4, and 5. Now, these are all single crochets. These single crochets with a little smiley face is telling me that you need to work those single crochets into the front loop only of the stitch below. This smiley face has a line going from up there down to there, and it's telling me that I need to work into the front loop of the single crochet below. Not the one below here, but the one below here. So what actually happens is we do our chain, we do our 1 row of single crochet. When we come back to do the second row, we do our chain, we do our first single crochet into the front loop of the single crochet below. And we do that all the way across. We're going to work into the single crochet into the front loop of the single crochet below. Then we come to row 3. Now this is where some people might get a little bit lost. Now when you turn the work to start row 3, the single crochet below this one now will have the previously unworked back loop showing as the front loop. I hope that makes sense. I'm going to start this one right from the beginning. Previously I have done these tutorials and I've already started the swatch. Well, this one I'm really going to walk you through it because it can be a little bit confusing. So when you're doing your third row, you're working front loop single crochets again, but because you turned your work, you're actually the front loop you're working into, and this line here indicates you've got to work into that row again. Okay, it indicates it's a front loop, but it's a back loop. It used to be the back loop, but because you turned the work, it's now become a front loop, and you work into that. Then you work your 4th row, and you just work into the top of the stitches that you put into the front row, stitches below. And you do 2 rows of single crochet like that, and then you go back to your second row again. So let's see if you can follow along when we now work it as a for real, using actual hook and yarn. Okay, I'm using a 4mm hook again, and which is a G, and I once again am going to be using Bendigo woolen meals, 100% merino washable, and in red, and I am going to work you through the whole stitch step by step, because it is can be a confusing stitch. So it's any multiple, and I cannot see for the life of me. Sorry, I'm going to have to enlarge this. I've been doing a few tutorials, so that's better. I can't read. I can't read my computer. So any number of stitches, and we're just going to make our slip knot. And I'm just going to chain 15 or so. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. A few more. 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Okay, going to work 15 stitches. And then it tells me to work my first single crochet into the second chain from my hook. So I've worked 15 chain. This will now give me 14 stitches. So I'm going to work a single crochet into the back bump, and I'm going to work all the way across. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Because the chain, I'm pretty sure, I'll just check the pattern, the chart, but I'm pretty sure, yep, you can see here that, whoops, I'll point with something else. You can see that the chains are not worked into, therefore the chains are not counted as stitches. Okay, so I've done my 15 chain, and I've worked into the second chain from the hook, and I've done 14 stitches. I'm going to chain 1, and I'm going to come back, and I'm going to work this row, and I'm going to work into the front loop only, all the way down. Okay. So we do a single chain up, which doesn't count as a stitch. So I'm going straight into this first front loop of the single crochet below. Whoops. just the front loop only, don't forget. We're leaving the back loop, which when we turn our work will become the front loop. And this should be my last front loop. I'm going to count my stitches to make sure. Oops. Yep, that's the front loop. Alright, I'm just going to count my stitches. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 13, 14. Perfect. Okay. Now, I'm going to chain 1. And I'm going to turn my work. Now, the pattern tells me that I need to work into the front loop of each single crochet 2 rows below. 1, 2 rows below. So this, if you can see, is actually these are the back loops of the single crochets that were remaining when we worked into the front loops when we worked from that end across to this end. So now the back loops, because we've turned our work, have become the front loops. So effectively what we're doing is we're working a row of single crochet into one half of this top loop, or the top of the stitch, and then we're working a row of single crochets working into the other half of the top of the stitch. So we're going to start by working into here. We've done our 1 chain, and if you have trouble getting into it, don't forget you've got a hook for a reason. You can just hook it up, and then you can do a single crochet. And I might see if I can come in a little bit closer. The red might not have been a best colour to do this in, but you've got the front loop of the single crochet, and we're going to do a single crochet. This is called did I tell you the Pintuck stitch. And this becomes very twisty and curly as you work it. So I don't recommend this really for a scarf, or even really maybe a blanket, unless you're going to edge it, because it's twisty and everything else. In fact, I would have no idea what I would use this stitch for, but I'm sure it's used for something, otherwise no one would have created it. And then we got one more. And where's that one gone? I think that's it there. I know it goes a bit wonky on that last one. Was that it? Hang on. Whoops. Let me actually look at the actual... Oh, okay, there it is. I needed to look at it outside of the camera. See, there it is there. When you fold it, you can see there's a little loop there. And we're going to pull it up and knit that. And I'm going to check my count. And we're going to go 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14. Okay, let's try that again. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 13, 14. Yep, that's what we need. Okay, now it looks a little bit like a... What are they called? Churros. It looks almost like a churro. Anyway, so now we are going to work, I think it's 2 rows. Yep, 2 rows of single crochets. So we do a chain 1 and we turn our work. Remember, the chain is not counted as a stitch, and we're going to work not into this, okay, not into the other half of the single crochet row that is in this stitch, same stitch, but we're going to go back into this, you know, we're going to work from the, go back along the stitch, along the row, sorry, of the stitch we've just worked, or the row we've just worked. And we're going to do 2 rows. I'm just going to... Why does it jump? It always jumps. Okay. I'm so quiet because I'm actually concentrating, because like I say, I found this a little tricky initially, and obviously I'm still struggling with it. So and so that's another reason why I'm just counting all my stitches. I don't want to have to find that at the end, you know, I've got a bad stitch count, or an incorrect stitch count. So let's count again. We've got 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 13, 14. Yes. So, and then we chain 1 again, and then we're going to come all the way down, going into that first stitch, because the chain 1 does not count as a stitch. I just realised the time, and I realised that the letter I wanted posting isn't going to go today. Oh well, never mind. It can go tomorrow. Okay, so there we go. That's 2 rows of single crochet. Let's just check our count still right. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14. And then we start again. Now, tells me to repeat from row 2, which is where we start working in our front loops. So we do a chain, and once again we work in the front loops of all the stitches across. So let's do that again. I'm going to work in the front loop of every stitch. I've got to tell you, I'm not loving this stitch. I think maybe if I could think of a purpose for it. If you can think of a really good purpose for it, let me know. I'd love to sort of know what sort of project would really benefit from a textured stitch such as this. I have got one theory, but I'll show you when I get to the other side, because it's not gonna make sense until you see the other side. So front loop only. And can we see the back loop? Yeah, the back loop's sort of there. In fact, what I'm actually going to do, oh no, I can see it easy enough. Yeah, front loop, single crochet. Once again, just do a quick count. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, yeah, okay. Now, so we're turning our work again. Now the only purpose I could see for this, now I'm going to work another one of these ridges in this row of front loops or back loops that has become front loops. Now, being a grandmother to be very soon, with my first one, I'm thinking if this were a bib and made in cotton, these little ridges would catch all the drool from a teething child. Or, or even the food from a child that's eating messily. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. That's the only thing I can think of. I'm sure there's a reason for, many people could come up with a really good reason for texture. This texture stitch, I cannot. But yeah, so we're going to go down here and we are going to work into the back loops, which are now the front loops, all the way across again. 1, 2. In fact, if you fold your work, 3, it sort of sticks up a little bit, so it's easy to see. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, and this one's always a bit tricky to find, but there it is, 13. When you fold it in half, it makes it a bit easier. 14, chain 1, and then I work another 2 rows of single crochets in the top of the stitches using both loops of the stitch. And this is the Pintuck stitch. Not a fan. Sorry. Maybe if I could think of a use for it. Like I say, if you do have a idea, I suppose if you needed something sort of with a sort of stripy, pinstripey sort of texture to it, it might be useful. I just can't think of anywhere I would need it. Maybe, you might want to add it to a blanket to add a bit of texture, but I don't know. I think it's a lot of work for a little benefit, but that's just my opinion. Please sway me. Tell me that there's a much better option that this stitch could go into. Okay, chain one, and then I do one more row, and that is the second repeat. I really am struggling to even enjoy making this, so this will be the only, as big as this sample will be, because I'm really not enjoying it. I'm sorry, but I've got to be honest with you, I really do, because when I'm doing these stitches, I figure you're looking for my opinion on what you could use them for, as well as how easy or difficult they are, or pretty or not pretty, reversible or not reversible, and all that sort of thing. Well, I'm struggling on all of those aspects, and quite frankly, I'm glad that when the Battle of the Stitches did this design, I was not doing the Battle of the Stitches challenges, because I would have done a bib. That wouldn't have gone down too well. But yeah, so that is the stitch. It is the Pintuck stitch. This is as big as a sample's getting. I'm sorry, I'm not going to put myself through any more torture. It really is horrible, and it's not like it's causing me any discomfort. It's not like it's difficult, really. I just don't like it. Like I say, if I tell me in below, what would you use this for? Because I'm struggling. I'm trying to think, maybe would I use it for a bit of texture on a beanie, maybe near the sort of ribbing, just to sort of add a little bit of texture or something like that. For what it, like I say, for what it is, for the benefit of texture it gives, it's a lot of work, and I would imagine it's quite a yarn eater too, if you were going to make it a bigger project. I wonder what it would be like as a washcloth. Would that work? Would that be a good washcloth? Having deep grooves for, really, cleaning out things. I don't know. Anyway, let me know what you think, because I'm dying to know what, it could be used for. This is going to go into one of my Ziploc bags, never to be used again. Unless I can come up with, or you can come up with a really good idea. Anyway, thank you for watching. Yeah, I'm sorry, I'm being such a downer on this stitch. I mean, there's got to be someone out there who likes it and will use it, and I want to know what you will use it for. Okay, until next time. Oh, hang on. Yep, did I do the whole? The written instructions will be, and the graph will be located in the Facebook and the community post. I can't remember. You will be able to find the written instructions on the community tab of the post tab of my YouTube channel, and also on the Facebook page if you are interested. Yeah, now I've said it. I can't remember if I said it before. I can't even remember if I told you what yarn and hook I was using. I'm sorry, I'm really out of it. I've been doing these tutorials now for about 8 hours. It's worth it though. It's worth to get a load of tutorials done at once. Then I can schedule them and they're done, and then I can really concentrate on doing other things like making bigger projects that I want to make. But anyway, yeah, let me know. What would you use it for? And yeah, until next time, thanks for watching. Take care and bye for now.